I've been fighting it for the past few months, but I've come to the realization bodybuilding became who I was. I also felt boxed into that specific identity. I felt like I needed to be a gym girl. Maintaining this lifestyle that wasn't serving me anymore. I had convinced myself that I could only feel good after I pushed myself through a really heavy, hard workout. This idea of health that I've had isn't healthy to me anymore. Bulky is subjective, trying to make myself feel better, which is making me feel worse. Sometimes we go back to what we know, even if it's not what we need anymore. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Madison if you're new here. Today, I want to talk about why I am changing my fitness routine and where I'm at in my fitness journey, because a lot has been changing. If you've been around for a while, you know that heavy lifting has been my entire way of training for the past 4 years. I used to push heavy, I used to want the muscle mommy vibes, but recently my body has been trying to tell me that is no longer serving me. I've been fighting it for the past few months, but I've come to the realization that I need to listen to my body and not ignore it again like I have for the past few years. I was all about wearing cute girly outfits but going to the gym and lifting heavy. That time definitely served its purpose. I built a lot of muscle, I built my glutes up the way that I wanted, and I learned discipline and I learned how to really push myself. But it's starting to get to the point where it's backfiring. My body is not loving it anymore, and so I've realized I need to change. Let's start by talking a little bit about my fitness identity and the heavy lifting that I got into and branded myself with for years. Bodybuilding became who I was, and it became what I built my platform around, because when my Instagram started to get more traction, I was very in my gym girl era. I loved dark sport, I loved alphalete and navigation, but I was really like gym girl, like take my pre-workout, go to the gym, lift heavy. That was just my vibe, and that was very trendy at the time too. And so when my page gained a bunch of traction, I was like, okay, that is me. I need to be the girl lifting heavy weights in the gym all the time. And there was that point in my journey where I was lifting really heavy. I was pushing myself so hard. I got up to 405 pounds on hip thrusts, which was crazy. I was shoulder pressing 40-pound dumbbells, and I loved to be strong. I was really good at it. I felt powerful, but it was very much so for my ego. I felt good in my ego self, but my body did not feel good. And I felt this pressure to stick with the muscle mommy vibes and the heavy weightlifting for women that is just, it's a very controversial place to be on the internet. I felt like, okay, you're the person that lifts heavy, you're the muscle mommy, so you need to stick with it, even if it doesn't feel good for you anymore. Don't get me wrong, the strength era that I had was so powerful, so empowering, and I learned so much in that time. Like I mentioned, I learned discipline, I learned how to push myself, like truly push myself. I learned how to show up, I learned how to lift heavy weights and do it with good form and just really see what my body could handle. But I also felt boxed into that specific identity. I felt like I needed to be a gym girl. I needed to hit my protein all the time perfectly. I needed to always be lifting heavy. But basically, fitness girl became my whole personality, and I felt so boxed in because there's so much more to my life and to me than just fitness in the gym. But I felt like I had to be the girl that was always hitting her protein, eating clean meals, hitting heavy weights all the time, and just maintaining this lifestyle that wasn't serving me anymore. But like I mentioned, so much of my lifting was for my ego. When I started kind of feeling like things were off and I wasn't really loving how I was feeling, my ego would not let me lift lighter. I would find myself thinking, I want to lift lighter, but are people gonna judge me if I start lifting lighter? Because I associated lifting lighter with being soft, like soft energy. And if I was soft, then I was bad. Like I had put that in my mind. I would get curious about lifting lighter, not pushing myself as hard, because I would push myself so hard in workouts, and it was very rewarding. At the end of my workout, like I would be so proud of myself for pushing through, but my body would not feel good. My body would feel tired and inflamed and puffy and just stressed all the time. But I had convinced myself that I could only feel good after I pushed myself through a really heavy, hard workout. And I felt like people would judge me if I went back to lifting a little bit lighter, but more intentional, because once I got my strength to that point, I felt like I needed to keep that strength and be that strong, even though that wasn't my goal anymore. And I also worried about, if I start lifting lighter, will my glutes shrink, which to me was a really big deal, and will I lose my credibility, because I had built my whole platform on lifting heavy. So I was like, okay, if I want to pivot, is everyone going to unfollow me? Do people not care about my fitness advice anymore because it's not the trendy, heavy lifting gym girl vibe anymore? So I was very stuck. Earlier this year in 2025, I wanted to pivot. I tried to pivot, but I don't think I was quite ready. I was doing 2 glute-focused days a week. I wasn't training any upper body because I was feeling so bulky in my upper body. So I took a few months off of lifting upper body. So I was just doing glutes twice a week and then walking. And I was implementing some classes, like heated yoga classes and heated Pilates classes 2 times a week. And I felt really good in the amount of size that I lost in my upper body because I didn't want to be that big and I didn't want to be that puffy and inflamed all the time. I was doing some at-home Pilates workouts too, and I was loving how I was feeling. I was very uncomfortable being new at something and in learning and experimenting again. So after a few months, I went back to what I knew, which was the heavy weightlifting, heavy bodybuilding style training. I think that sometimes we go back to what we know, even if it's not what we need anymore, just out of comfort and security, because it feels comfortable to do something that you know how to do, as opposed to being a newbie and trying something new and figuring out something that's going to work differently for you than it did in the past. In August of this year, I started doing a workout program again. It was 4 days of lifting. It was 3 heavy glute focused lower body workouts. I think there was 38 sets of glutes in there, which is a lot of glute work, especially if you're trying to be kinder to your body. Like, I'm doing so much nervous system regulation because I'm someone that's go all the time and constantly stressed and unable to like take a pause and like sit and relax. I've been in such a fight or flight mode for so long, going back to that heavy lifting in a point where I'm trying to heal and fix all these other areas in my life. That heavy lifting just added so much more stress to my body. So I started doing that in August, and then in September I lost my period, which was the first time that I lost it, and I knew that I lost it because I had been on birth control since I started working out up until the middle of last year, and then I got my IUD removed. And so my hormones were all over the place, and getting a regular cycle took a while, but I was pretty regular in the beginning of this year and like the end of last year. So then when I lost my cycle for 81 days, which is a big deal. My Oura ring was telling me that I was stressed, and I track everything with my Oura ring, and my Oura ring told me that my stress has been so bad. My daytime recovery and nighttime recovery has been in the red zone because I just don't let myself rest and relax, and I can't just take a second to chill. My resting heart rate has been elevated for the past few months. As I've gotten more in tune with my body, I realized that my cycle is so important. That is like a huge health indicator, is if you have a healthy cycle, because your body feels safe enough to have a cycle. And if your body doesn't feel safe because of high stress, because you're not eating enough, whatever it is, your body is not going to give you a cycle, and that is a huge sign that your body's not healthy. So I had to take that and do a little reflecting and be like, okay, what this idea of health that I've had, which is the 5 days a week of bodybuilding style training, heavy, pushing yourself, tracking your macros, that healthy lifestyle isn't healthy to me anymore. Just being able to accept that and let that old identity, honor what I learned in that moment, in that time frame, and then move past it. Also in this time period, I was feeling super puffy and inflamed again, more bloated and just not good on my body. I was having hip flexor pain a lot of the time. I started doing pull-ups again too, and my upper body just gets a lot of muscle pretty quick. I have a muscular upper body, which is great, but it's not something that I want to continue building. I noticed as soon as I added pull-ups back into my routine, my traps and my lats just like felt so much bigger. So I just wasn't loving that. Just all of these signs that my body's trying to tell me that this is not working for me and I need to do something different. So I'm finally deciding to listen to what my body is telling me instead of what the internet is telling me to do in regards to what is healthy. Essentially, my body was screaming at me and I just kept whispering back to it, this is what I always do and this is what works, but it's not working for me anymore. In the past few weeks, I've had this identity shift where I realized fitness does not need to be my whole personality anymore. And I had to realize too that just because something served me before doesn't mean I have to cling on to it forever. So that strict bodybuilding lifestyle that I had been clinging on to for so long served its purpose. It built the consistency and the discipline to get me into the gym 5 days a week and to show up for myself and push myself with weights and track my macros and all of that and learn about nutrition. And it got me into a healthy lifestyle. Hi, kitty. but it's not serving me anymore, and that's okay. Letting go of an old version of yourself can be so hard. Familiar feels safe, and it's so much easier to ignore what your body's trying to tell you in regards to like if something is not working for you anymore and just continue to push forward. It is much harder to realize, okay, I need to let that old version of me go, and I'm moving into a new version of me and taking the lessons that I learned from this phase and bringing it into this new phase. It is hard, but it will be so rewarding. Cannot stop yawning. I need to drink some coffee. I have my cute little mug from Hobby Lobby. I love her. So what's changing in my workout routine? I have been wanting to implement full body workouts instead of body part split. So that's the first area that I'm changing. So I am doing 3 full body workouts every single week. So these workouts will be 2 to 3 lower body exercises, 2 to 3 core exercises, because I was so sick of saving core and saving abs to train after my lifts, and then I would just skip it. Structuring the full body workouts with legs and then core and then upper. And the upper body is really just focused on shoulders and arms, not that much back anymore. And also just lifting with less intensity and a lighter weight for sure. Doing hip thrust with 135 instead of 315 or 405. Moving to feel my muscles contracting and to feel them working and not just pushing through heavy weight to get through the reps. In the leg exercises, I'm still starting with hip thrust every single time because glutes are still something that I want to maintain. But like I mentioned, not doing as heavy. One of the days has RDLs, one of the days has split squats, and I can't remember what the other day has. I've done 2 out of the 3 workouts so far. I'm doing the next one on Wednesday, and I'm so excited because I've loved the past 2 that I've done. I feel so good because in my mind, when I was in this little fitness rut, I would only want to train glutes because it was the only workout that felt like a real workout to me, because I would get my heart rate up and I'd feel tired after, which is not the indicator of a good workout. But in my mind, I was like, I don't really want to go just do upper body, so I'm just not going to go. I don't want to do core. I'm tired. All of these different things. And so the full body workouts feel great because you're starting with lower body, so you're getting your heart rate up, you're getting your glutes nice and pumped, and then you're moving on to core, so you have a nice strong core because core is so important. And then some upper body work just to maintain those strong shoulders, some cute biceps, but nothing too bulky. Like I've said several times, bulky is subjective. I made a TikTok video earlier this year too, talking about my little fitness transformation moment. I'll link the full video down below. I started to feel bulky again, and bulky is a word that is so taken the wrong way, I guess, in the fitness industry. And people say women can't get bulky, people say that women can, and there's no in between ground. But I feel bulky when I build a lot in my back, like in my lats and then in my traps. And that happens when you're doing heavy upper body work. It makes sense. So I was feeling bulky again, and I just don't love that. So some nice light lateral raise, just really feel your shoulders working. Some light bicep curl to really feel your bicep working instead of just like pumping through the reps. It feels so good, and you're not killing yourself in your workouts, which is a mindset reframe that I'm having to adjust from, because I used to judge my workouts based on like how tired I was after, and like, oh, I really pushed myself, like I feel so tired, my muscles feel so fatigued, but my body just doesn't love that anymore. So I'm doing these 3 full body workouts and then getting my 10,000 steps every single day, because I do love to walk, and walking has so many different benefits. It's really good for your mind too, and it helps with digestion and all these different things. So I walk after those workouts, and then on the 2 days in between, so I'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the full body workouts. 2 days in between, I'm gonna do either like light Pilates sculpt workout just on the TV. I don't want to go to a Pilates studio right now. I'm already like in an adjustment phase and like relearning phase, and I just don't want to add that in. Doing the 3 full body workouts, 2 days where I just do an at-home Pilates upper body core sculpt vibe, and then just getting my steps in and really just trying to focus on slowing down again. I'm really working on stress management too, because I just, after looking at my Oura Ring stats, and my resting heart rate has been so high, and I just have been so anxious and overwhelmed. And I know a lot of it has to do with the amount of time that I spend on social media too, because it's my job, but also because I'm looking at what everyone else is doing. I've just had to realize that what I've been doing isn't working for me anymore, and that's okay. But I don't want to feel the way that I've been feeling, and something needs to change. So I'm doing a social media cleanse too. I'm gonna do a different video on it, but I'm gonna do 2 weeks where I'm just off of socials. Obviously, I'll have to go on and post some stories for different content things that I have due, but I won't be sitting scrolling, and I'll have all of my posts scheduled just so I can take a breather. Even yesterday and today, I haven't gone on Instagram. I posted this morning on my stories for the new Vitality t-shirt that launched, but I had those pieces pre-planned, so I just went on really quickly, uploaded them, and then logged out of the app. And my stress, I already just feel so much better yesterday and today after not being on socials, because I would feel good, and then I'd go on socials and see what someone else is doing, and then I would feel behind, and then I would feel stressed, and then I would doom scroll because I'm trying to make myself feel better, which is making me feel worse. I'm very excited for this new era because it really is the balance era. We're gonna feel balanced in our lives and in our bodies, and just no more extremes, okay? So these new workouts are just more intuitive, a little more feminine, I guess is what you would say. But I still train glutes, and I love all the glute focus. My intention with upper body is more like posture focused and sculpting and just feeling good and not building necessarily. And I'm really focusing on hormone health and nervous system regulation, because after losing my period, I finally got it back. But I've been eating more and trying to work on my stress. But after losing it, I don't want to lose it again, and I've realized I need to take better care of my body. Taking care of my hormones and working on stress is really important. So I'm really focused on that in this new phase of my life as well. Setting boundaries with social media, like I mentioned, just finding time to slow down and take a breather, which is really hard. This new fitness era is just all about balance and focusing on where you're putting your energy, and just taking care of yourself and building true confidence and moving your body in a way that feels good for you, and not feeling the pressure of needing to do certain workouts because the girl on Instagram said you have to. You know? Focusing on more sleep and rest and recovery, and having more fun. Just having more fun in life, not being so serious about, I need to get protein in every single meal that I'm eating. It needs to be protein first, like all of those strict rules. Yes, have a healthy diet. Yes, focus on whole foods if you can. But also, if someone asks you to go out and have an eggnog latte and have a little Christmas dessert and go to the Christmas lights, I'm gonna do that. I'm not going to be stressing thinking, well, I'm this fitness girl. Fitness is my identity. I need to make sure it's a protein coffee or a protein muffin if I'm gonna do it, and then not even fully enjoying that because it tastes like crap. But like actually just being in the moment. I'm just moving out of this previous phase and this previous version of myself that I've been, and I had to go through the phase earlier this year where I tried a new identity and then immediately went back because doing something different is scary and hard. But I've done so much work up here that I'm more comfortable trying something new and giving it longer than a few months to really get into the groove of things. If you've also been feeling burnt out with your workouts, or just like you need to change and you need to evolve and grow, we're in this together. I'll be documenting my experience with this new workout program that I'm building, and I'll be doing some vlogs of my workouts that I've been doing, just giving updates on how I'm feeling and all of that. So make sure you're subscribed so you can come along with the journey. If there's anything in particular that you want to see in this transition period, whether it's meals and nutrition or mindset or the workouts that I'm doing or how I'm feeling or anything like that, let me know down below so I can know what specifics you guys would like to see. And I'm just so excited for this new era in my life. I have been feeling like I'm on the edge of something new for the past, literally all year, like 2025. Like I've just felt like I'm creeping into this new identity, but not quite sure what. But as I spend more time thinking about it, it gets more clear. And I'm just so excited to fully be this new version of Madison. Comment down below letting me know if anything resonated with you in this video, and if there's any part of your fitness identity that you want to let go of as well, because we are in this together. I have to remind myself that this is not me quitting, it is me evolving. It's taking everything that I learned previously, moving it into the next phase of my life. So that's all that I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so excited to bring you along with me on this journey. Bye!